Hey y'all, hey, I'm Aletha.
I'm Latoya.
And this is The Wine Effect. Thank y'all again for tuning in this week. Thank you for your continued support. So make sure you're please like, comment, and subscribe, okay? So we can keep bringing you content, keep engaging with you. We want to talk to you. Please. Come and talk to us. We really wanna, okay? We want to talk to y'all.
Hey, wait a minute.
So come on, look, she in the groove now.
Okay,
so we really want to talk to y'all, okay? Come on, don't leave us out there hanging dry with no comments,
please,
okay?
Y'all. Come on, please talk to us.
Please make sure you're doing that. Get those little fingers ready. Drop a little comment. You liked it.
Right.
Give some suggestions. Even if it's something you didn't like, you got a book, you got a movie,
right.
You got a wine.
You want to hear about a topic and you just want to know opinion just because you like to hear us talk or don't really want to hear us talk, but we doing this anyway.
Don't matter. We're still going to come to you.
Also, if you are an entrepreneur,
yes,
and you need us to talk about you, be about you, support you, we also want to hear from you because we will be glad to actually have a conversation with you.
Yes.
And to give you a shout out on our next segment because that's why we are here.
I agree. So, on that note, what are we drinking today, Latoya?
We had to go back into oldie but goodie. We had to go back to Stella Rose. Stella Pink.
Y'all know that's my fave.
That's hers.
So I ain't never saying no to this one.
Right.
So that's what we sipping on this segment. And what we gonna talk about today?
What we talking about?
How long should you wait after getting out of a relationship before you get into another one? I don't feel like you could put a time limit on that.
I think it should be a time limit on that. Let me tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, it depends on how long you was in your first relationship.
True.
Okay.
True.
So I can only speak for me.
Okay.
Back in the day.
Okay.
When I was young and not a kid anymore. But no, back in the day, I was in a long-term relationship. I was in love. And it was a really long time. It hit me hard.
Yeah. That'll do, y'all.
It ended, of course. It ended, and I wasn't looking for somebody, but somebody came into my life, and I think that's sometimes how it goes. You don't really look like it's not a time frame,
right?
But when you're young, I think it's different than say you was in a long-term marriage, maybe.
Yeah,
I feel like there may be a difference. You don't have to really be a marriage. It could be a long-term just relationship. I just feel like, depending on that situation and where you are at the stage of your life, determines sometimes how long mentally you need to wait. Because younger, you can, you still trying to really, you think you know what love is, but you're still trying to learn love. Hell, to this day, sometimes I'm still trying to learn what love is.
Right,
but, I just feel like my mom has always told me you shouldn't look for love. We go back into the good book. It says that you shouldn't look.
Don't go searching for it.
He should find you.
Right.
And when he finds you, he finds a good thing.
Hey,
okay, we're not gonna get in, but I'm just saying.
Amen, church.
That is like a line of sometimes we go out looking for love,
right?
And we look in the wrong places, and we rush into it, and you can't find love first if you don't know what love is.
That's true.
And if you don't love yourself, how can you teach somebody to love you? Okay, we've already talked some into that before, so all that plays along into your mental.
Right.
Because if you don't let go of what happened in the past, of your past relationship, right, then you're going to bring it to your next relationship.
That's very true.
If you haven't dealt with your past relationship.
That's true.
I feel like, you should always be friends first.
Yeah.
To find out that person. Because they will bring you your representative for about 6 months to a year. You will see the representative. Everything will be great. You know that love feeling in your stomach for about 6 months to a year. Oh, I just can't wait to be there. He texted me and I love yes. And then once that is up and you be like, well, I ain't never seen that before. When you start doing that,
Mm-hmm.
then your eyes open a little, not a lot,
Not
because
right.
love still clouds your thinking. I think sometimes.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Whew. That's a question to unpack.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe that you do, to a certain extent, you have to know yourself.
Okay.
And that's why I feel like there is no way to put an amount of time, because what may be 6 to 8 months for me, what if, you're in a similar situation and you feel things a little harder, feel things a little, and just depending on the situation, because it could be completely different, and you might feel like, oh, I need to wait like 2-3 years before I get into something. Like, that might just make you just step all the way back and be very protective of yourself. So that's why I say I don't feel like you can put a time on it. However, everything that she said is correct, because when you don't deal with things, you don't know when you're projecting on that new person. If you move forward, you don't know if, I just read something, so you don't know if something is a red flag or if it's just something that's triggered from a past relationship. So is it truly a red flag, or is it something that last person did and it's triggering because that ended bad, so now you think this finna end bad? So there's so many different things. Yes, you need to process it. You don't need to get up on a new man to forget the old man. Like, y'all, that really don't work.
I mean, it's a good song.
It's a good song, and it might feel good in the moment.
Right.
But when you go home after all that's done, or the next days, a few days later, are you feeling better? Right. Or are you still back thinking about that boo who just dumped you, or you just dumped?
Because you can be in a relationship and something happens, or you hear a song, or they say something that triggers a moment, and then you back into that moment with that other person, when that other person that you with now is standing in front of you.
Right.
So like I said, I think it's really a mental thing.
Yeah, that's
honestly, true. It's how fast you want to go.
That's true.
To be with somebody else. But I say that when you look for love, or need to feel that you need to have love, sometimes I feel like you need to learn again how to love yourself and be by yourself for a little while. Yeah. It's good everybody wants companionship.
Right.
You can't tell me that you do not want companionship. Companionship is wonderful.
Right.
But I think to have a friend that has no boundaries, that you can talk to, you can debate with, you can feed off each other, and then it flourishes to something more over time. Then you have that when you meet that person or that friend, you feel like you know them for a long time.
Right.
And you're comfortable right off. Right. But it never pans out. You always stay friends. You both go your separate ways, but you seem to come back together again. Right. But you're still friends. And it just it still goes a long way, but you have that what if factor. You have that could it be factor. Right. But you're still in a relationship that you probably need to let go. Right. I don't say you don't want to let go. Right. It's some situations where it's hard to let go. But when you think about sometimes when you have to wait the transition of it all, I think sometimes mentally you have to process things mentally. Yes. Everything is a process. Yes. Every relationship is going to be different because everybody's different. Right. And everybody thinks things differently. Right. So you can be in a relationship for 6 years. Right. And find somebody that you probably knew before you knew this person that you were with for 6 years, and you stayed in good terms. Right. And y'all hit it off. Y'all didn't leave in bad terms. Right. But you can also, in a flip mode, come back with somebody that you left on bad terms. True. But they grew up. Became the person that you knew that was going to be. That happens. And second chances, it wound up being different because you both have matured. Right. And you're in different places. Right. It could be a scenario of things. So I just feel like it depends on the situation and that person. Right. You can't just say you shouldn't move on to the next. I just feel like sometimes you need to figure out what happened in your past relationship or the relationship that you letting go, so you can learn from those mistakes and move on.
Yes.
I feel like if you don't deal with the emotions that you had and how you feel, and it depends on how it broke away, how you walked away,
yes,
what happened.
That matters.
Because you can be really crushed and you just don't want to be. I think, okay, this is going to get a little deep.
Okay.
I think sometimes, okay, this is going to really be all outside of the box, and then you're going to be like, did she just say that?
Say it.
Sometimes I think, in general, for women,
okay,
go to women because they've been really hurt by men. And women are so emotionally in relationships. Okay, I'm telling you now, I'm not into women. Okay, I love men. I love being with a man. I'm just saying, sometimes I feel like, and it's not an excuse.
Right.
I don't think it's right, but that's my opinion.
That's her opinion.
It's only my opinion. Do what you do. That's what you do. No judgment.
Right.
But I really feel like sometimes if somebody gets hurt over and over and over again, I feel like sometimes that's why women sometimes move to be with another woman.
I have personally heard that though.
And I have.
Because I'm one of those people, like, I want to understand you, and if you're willing to open up to me so that I can ask, like, why is that your preference? Yeah. And I've had some women, and I've also heard of some stories from other people where women say that, like, they were just really hurt, or maybe just bad situation after bad situation after bad situation. They're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna move on.
But that leads me to wonder, if it's a bad situation on top of a bad situation on top of a bad situation, are you going back? Are you staying in the same atmosphere? You know, you stay in the same environment that you was in with the last relationship. True. I'm sorry, you can't keep going to the club and trying to find your boo thing every time. You know, if you keep on going to the same place and doing the same thing, sometimes you gotta come outside your comfort zone.
Yes, yeah, I be trying to tell my girlfriends that
you can't. If you continue to stay in the same circles, you're gonna continue to get the same result. That's just how I feel. Again, my opinion. Right. But sometimes you have to think outside the box.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true. I will say, just being completely honest, I do feel like I struggle with moving on too fast because I love love.
Oh, yes.
I love love. I do have the whole issue with my dad not being there, so I do have like those daddy issues that I'm currently seeing how they play out. So trying to work through that, making sure I'm not making decisions based solely on that. But I can speak from just past experience that I have jumped into things because I'm like, oh, what if I'm like gonna miss my, like, what if I say, this was always my thought process, what if I say no and then I miss my opportunity for love and happiness?
But when you say daddy issues, like my daddy wasn't there either. Okay. And I think when you say daddy issues, I feel like it depends on daddy issues. Okay. I feel like, because for me, it's more of say what you mean and mean what you say daddy issues for me.
Okay. Mine is more of, I'm used to being disappointed.
Yes, that's what I mean. Yes.
So I feel like I walk into situations already preparing for that instead of allowing you to show me whether that's going to be the case. I just go into it like I could potentially be disappointed. Okay. So that I'm not surprised or caught off guard. So that's one of my things that I took away from my relationship, or let me say the lack of the relationship I had growing up. And then also another one is feeling like I have to do all of these things to be loved. Now y'all gonna hear me talk about my life coach a lot. So my life coach really had to tell me, Malika, you don't have to do all those things for somebody to love you. And I'm like, so I ain't like gotta prove that I'm like worthy. Like I felt like I had to prove that I was worthy because my dad wasn't there when he was supposed to, you know, show up. Sometimes he did. I do have some good memories, but there were also times when, you know, I was sad and my feelings was hurt because he was supposed to show up and he didn't show up. So that's where that disappointment sets in. That is also where that, oh, I have to do all of these things to earn your love and prove that I'm worthy of your love, because my foundation was already broken to begin with. So ladies, yes, men, with your mom, if you have any issues with your mom, that stuff carries over into your relationships. It does. And you have to then start to dissect. Yeah, you have to dissect, like, how does that play a part if you do have those issues. And I'm only going to say if you only just had dealt with them. I always felt like he ain't really there, like he's not really trying, and I'm perfectly okay with that. Like, I just thought it was fine and it wasn't affecting me, but now I do see it does creep into those areas of my life. So I do understand, and maybe that's why I don't feel like you have to put a time on it, because I am that type of person that will jump if I see the opportunity, and then later on is when I start to see, oh, I've been carrying this bag and now I like dropped it and now it's open and now I'm seeing all this stuff I hadn't dealt with. That's how I found out that I've done it too soon. I don't think I've been in a situation where I feel like I've said no and dealt with things, and then if the opportunity presented itself again, I was ready. I don't feel like I've ever been put in that situation because I just always jump for yes.
I feel like because I've always been in some type of relationship, I think that's why I am on the opposite of it should be, because if you don't have time alone with your own thoughts, with your own feelings, you just never really can be at one with yourself. Right. It's okay to be by yourself. Yes, like I said, companionship is wonderful, and I love hard. When I'm in, I'm all in. I don't halfway do love. Right. If I care about you, you're going to know that I care about you. Right. If I'm done, you kind of know I'm done. You don't know. But if there's still something there, it is hard to let go sometimes. But I feel like sometimes when you gave it your all and because your way of loving is not the other person's way of loving, depending on how they represented love in their life, or how love represented them in life. So your love versus their love could be two different loves. Look, like, love languages matter, y'all. Yes, it really matters, because I was disappointed a lot. I waited for my dad to say he was on his way plenty of times. Right. And that's why I'm a firm believer that if you say you're going to do something, please do it. Because when it comes to that time when you don't do it, I'm going to cut you off, because I've been hurt. I've been disappointed with the person that created me. Right. So you didn't have anything to do with my creation, and you disappoint me, I don't have to deal with that. Right. That's something that I don't have to deal with. Right. But then when you put love in that potion, we seem to give the benefit of the doubt. Yes. And when you say love, it can be a different love. Now let me explain this different love. Okay. Love can be, I love you because you gave me my child kind of love. Okay. Love can be, I'm so deeply in love with you because the emotions that I have when I say your name, when I think of you, the joy that it brings to my life is love. Right. It can be a love where, I love you as a friend. There's so many different ways of love. That's true. Love can be just, real love is a thought. I can think of you and the love it overflows. The joy that it brings just overflows. It just oozes out. Kind of love. Right. That's the kind of love that I want in my circle. Right. That's the kind of love that you would want. I think that's the kind of love that everyone would want. Right. Is that you can just think of that person and it does something to you. That's true. That's the kind of love that I think every woman would want. Yes. That's what we're all hoping that we receive. Like the action. It's like effortless. It's the action. It's effortless. Love is effortless. It's effortless. You do it just because.
Right.
Not because you want something back, not because you're looking for a handout. It's just effortless. It's because you want. It's because you
That's true. That is very true.
Oh,
y'all know we can talk about this
I can
all
yes.
day and keep the conversation going, but we want to know what y'all think.
What you think? Should you wait?
Is there a time frame?
Is it? Should you wait?
Do you have a rule? Do you go by, I'm gonna wait 8 months to a year before I, go into another relationship?
Or am I gonna say I'm done and then I'm gonna say boo thing over there, let's do this?
Right.
Like in a couple days. You tell us.
Right. Because everybody's different.
Everybody is different.
Everybody's different. Everybody has different experiences. So you might disagree with both of us. You might agree with one of us. Hey, you never know.
And we won't know unless you comment.
So
please comment.
Drop it in the comments.
So we can talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
We serenaded y'all with a song to begin with. We're gonna talk about it, okay? All right, so we're gonna move on to book suggestion. We're gonna talk about Mrs. Michelle Obama becoming this with love. She spoke a lot of good wisdom and a lot of gems in here too. Just speaking on what we talked about and just knowing who she was inside of the bigger vision of Barack Obama. Could you imagine your husband president and then you having to figure out who you are, what you want to do, what your life path is going to be, so you don't get swallowed up by your husband's job and everything that he's achieving and accomplishing. Look, y'all, it is a long read, but it was a lot of good. Look, it's pretty thick. But it was a lot of good things in there that I took from it, and just pretty much knowing that as a woman, when you become one with another man, you still have to find things for yourself. That is ultimately what I took away from this story. Yourself. That's what I took away from it. And she literally, when I tell y'all, Mrs. Obama, she did that. She did the darn thing and raising 2 kids. So, like I said, hats off to her.
With that cake one.
Right, as all mothers do.
Yeah.
And she taught me a couple of things of what I could do going forward just as a woman so that I can prepare to be that, as a wife when I finally have my husband. So, what do we have for movie suggestions?
I struggle because, sometimes I try to have a movie for the topic that we're talking about, but
True.
You could go back into the day to a Love Jones or a Brown Sugar, and I talked about Love and Basketball, but we've seen those. I've seen those like several times over.
Right.
So I'm just gonna talk about a series, not per se a movie.
Okay.
It's called Big Sky.
Okay.
I think it's like only 4 or 5 episodes in. I think it renews again to start. It's still its first season. Big Sky is a very good series.
Okay.
It's I won't say it's unusual. It happens every day, I think, somewhere in the world. Just watch it. It's good. It still keeps you on your toes. It's a very good series. It happens. Things happen. Fast.
Okay.
And it's not a boring part to it. I think that's why I like the series.
Okay.
But I think the reason why I feel like it's good is because they only did do like in that first season, it's like only like 4 or 5 episodes, and you like that's it.
So it's not drawn out. It's not drawn out. Okay.
But it comes out again, I believe, if not this week, next week, the 5th or 6th episode.
Okay.
So if you haven't started so you can catch up. I'm gonna tell you about another series I started. They're gonna be on this segment. It'll be on the next one. That one's deep. Deep. I'm gonna let you know about that one next time.
Okay, so Big Sky, y'all. I'm gonna have to get into that one.
Yeah.
Look, I've been watching some of these suggestions, and I'm like, okay, she was right.
I'm trying. Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch Big Sky, and I'm gonna check that out and see what that's about. What platform is that on? Is that Amazon?
No,
Netflix?
I want to say it's. I don't want to misspeak. I want to say it's either CBS and NBC. I don't remember which one.
Okay.
I don't want to misspeak on that,
So
but it's not an
networks.
Amazon, it's not a Netflix. It's actually a series that's right on right now.
Okay, we'll Google it, y'all.
Yeah, you can Google it. I just don't want to misspeak and look it up before I said something about it because I was just trying to determine what I was gonna say. So sorry.
That's all good. That's all good. So we appreciate y'all tuning in this week.
Yes.
Please comment, Let us know what you think about this week's topic. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Right.
Let us know.
Questions?
All right.
Anything.
And we're going to roll out this week. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Bye.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Tune into Melita and Latoya on the wine effect. Tune into Melita and Latoya on the wine effect. Tune in to see how we be talking. I know you wanna see how we be walking. I know you'll see some things that you don't know. We gon' talk about how we can all grow. I know you wanna see how we be doing it. We can show you things you didn't notice. It's time to level up like